G'day guys, welcome back to AFL SuperCoach, here with my round 15 review. Just a couple of quick housekeeping things before we get into the actual video itself. So I reached out to NASIAH SuperCoach during the week last week. He's an up-and-coming new SuperCoach content creator. If you haven't gotten around him yet, get around him. He's a genuinely good bloke, but also really smart with his takes and strategies, and he's actually killing it this season. So get around him if you haven't. The reason why I'm shouting out Nemo, not only Nemo himself, but also me and him did our first live last Friday. So not only was that just a nice, tick the box of the content creating journey for myself and Nemo, but also the fact that we did have a couple people get around us. Just a couple of call outs. There might have been more people that dialed in. It was really hard to watch who was streaming. So who dialed in the stream and who didn't. It was a bit hard to track, but definitely know Damo from SuperCoach Edge dialed in. And thank you so much, Damo, for giving us your time and support, as well as Big Tom from the UK who dialed in and gave us a couple of comments while he was working as well. So just got this up on the page. The reason why I picked this still was you can see the smiles on me and Nemo's faces, and you can see we're enjoying it. We're pretty much loving life, pretty much bringing this all to life, which was, I guess, an idea that we had respectively in our own lives, just in our own brains, a couple months ago, and we've both brought to life respectively. Nice to have such a friendly person to collaborate with, which actually looking to collaborate a little bit further with Nemo as well. We enjoyed it. We're giving another crack. So this Sunday at probably around 10 a.m, we're thinking, bring along your coffee, bring along your bacon and egg muffins, do whatever you want to do, and get around us to talk all things SuperCoach, the Thursday, the Friday, the Saturday night, going to the last day, talking about how we're looking for the final day, what our projected are we doing some VCC loopholes, what are we doing, and did we do a couple of left field trades during the week, and how's that all panning out for us as well. So thank you to those that dialed in, thank you to those that have supported, definitely myself as well as Nemo, and looking to collaborate with as many people as we possibly can, and just really build people up. At the end of the day, if we're all doing well as a content creating community here, and supporting one another, that can only be a good thing. And thank you to those that like, subscribe, and get around us. So with all that being said, I'll get into the team. Right. So the elephant in the room. I had a shit round. I had a pretty shit round. So look, in my thinking coming into the bye rounds, you have some good weeks and your bad weeks, and I'm like, how bad can a bad bye round be? Because it's best 18, the amount of variance between myself and the best teams, how bad can it be? It can get slightly bad, but look, there's some good things to look out for in the upcoming rounds. It is, how many rounds do we have left? We've got 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Is it 24 rounds? I think there is. 9 rounds to go, including this one. And so, look, the way I see it, although this is clearly not the best round that I had just gone, team value also, I think, tanked a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. It's all shining red, 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 red. I love this shit. This is a challenge now. Not that it wasn't before, but if I'm able to turn things around and start drilling down this rank, and my idea, and I'll get into the team in just a touch, but my idea is that as soon as I come out of the buys, and I'm banking on the fact that people are running out of trades, if not getting super low, and their cash is getting low as well, I probably have to be a bit more strategic with my trades. Look, I'm going to go into the team now. I'm going to undo my trades because I'm going to talk about those specifically, and I want my team to look exactly how it lined up the week just gone, so that way you get a really good feel for how I lined up. But yes, in short, being very strategic with my trades and what I do moving forward. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But in terms of the team review itself, Sinclair, do I have to even say any further on this? Sinclair, why'd you get 4? That's not good enough. No, I'm joking, obviously. Calf injury, really bad calf injury for Sinclair. He's been our rock down back. They're saying almost Spikes Michael this season. And so that speaks for itself. To be TBC, if it's 3 weeks, max 4 weeks, probably hold for the 4 weeks. It sounds like season based on the updates from today. So that's definitely a trade. Whitfield, 88, lost a bit of his role. He played a little bit forward. And it seems as though they're wanting to get Iden and Himmelberg the ball in the back line by way of kick-ins. So if you check the kick-in numbers, the kick numbers are very much swayed to Iden and Himmelberg, which is like not the way the Giants usually run things. Usually it's Whitfield or Ash that have the monopoly back there. Jordan Clark, Jesus Christ. Geordie last year was a safe 100, 105. His role has changed. He's not getting the kick-ins. He's not doing the switch of play. He's a little bit in no man's land, and the bad thing for him in SuperCoach is that Fremantle are winning. So it's not like, oh, we need Geordie Clark to be this line breaker, or we need Geordie Clark to take the kick-ins. No, they don't need him doing anything. They need him doing exactly what he's doing right now, and that's not boding well for his SuperCoach scoring. Look, there's going to be some games where Fremantle puts some people to the sword, and he'll get his 100, he'll get his 110. But I don't see any ceiling scores on the horizon for Geordie Clark. But we have to hold, clearly. As far as like trading out luxury trades, we're no any luxury trade season. For me, at least. You might be, but I'm certainly not. Houston at 84, saved his score late, got a couple of intercepts, and used the ball reasonably well when he had it, but a little bit of the same old story for Houston. Dirksen played, got 68. How much did he go up in price? 35k, that's pretty good. Yeah, bit of a, I won't say a bit of a moneymaker. Like, just didn't expect him to play games and actually score half decent, which is good. Hall Kahan, he was must-have rookie as of last week. The question's going to be now, do you keep Hall Kahan for the scoring and the DPP and the cover he can provide? Or when he eventually gets to 250, 300, he'll get there. Do you use him to upgrade, downgrade, and do a couple of trades? And it probably just depends on how many trades you have left. I think I'm leaning towards holding him for cover, but we will see. Blakey on the buy, Edwards on the buy. Dawson, 86, bit of a crash back down to earth for Dawson. So 180 plus 80 equals 260, divide that by 2, 130, like give or take 130 the last 2 rounds. So we'll take that. If he has another lower or poorer score, he might actually be going back down the other way when people thought they could never afford him again. So I'll watch this space on that. Butters, ever consistent. Bond, doing Bond things. I'm sure a lot of you guys saw that goal that he kicked, picked it up from forward. It was a really shit kick in into the forward line, picked it up, bang, turned around, 180, bang. The Triple M commentary on that is insane. Or not insane, sorry, it's a laugh. So go watch that. If you haven't already, Nick Dacos, this is what we thought Nick would do all season. And he's doing it a lot later in the piece. But loving that from Dacos. Callahan, 103. Another slow start for Callahan. He's prone to these slow starts. Definitely not the heights that we expected to get when we brought him in, but that's okay. LDU, really, really disappointing. Given the matchup and given his feast on Richmond before, really disappointing. And to be honest, I watched this game and I just couldn't put my finger on it, to be honest. Like, I don't know, maybe I was half paying attention. Maybe it's looking at Cherry on the bench, wiping his cheek, wiping his eye, doing all this shit. And Cherry got most of my attention through the Richmond game. And the fact that I put him VC and not Sheasel. But rant aside, really disappointing about LDU, and hopefully he bounces back because he's, one of our uniques. Well, he was at the start of the season. How much is he owned now? 17%. So not as uniquely owned as I thought. Let me move myself back up here. Where can my head not get in the way? I don't know if it's possible. Alrighty. Walsh, bit bounce back from Walsh. Clearly the time off to rest his shoulder helped. He was absolutely everywhere. Unfortunately, he gets a lot of possessions, but the Supercoach score doesn't really correlate to his high possessions. I don't know. Maybe it's just his effectiveness with the ball in hand. But look, can't complain with 112, and that's what we expected from him when we started with him at the start of the season. A bit of a roller coaster for Walsh. Ison 32. He's gone down in cash. Are you serious? He's lost money. 4.5K. Let me move my head here. Sorry, guys. 4.5K down. And 49 break even. He might not even get that. That's insane. Anyway, you're just going to sit there, Ison. Thanks for everything this season. It's been fantastic. Heaney buy. Sharp on the buy as well. Essendon, the beauty about being an Essendon supporter, when Essendon have a buy, so they can't lose to the buy. They can't lose to the buy. And that's why it was such a great weekend. Anyway, Banfield didn't play. Not sure what he has to do to get into the team, but probably some injuries to St Kilda now. So we'll see. Not specifically to his role, but you just never know. Bit of a depth impact for those guys. Gone. Yeah, really, really, really good. Probably a captain or VC choice there if you guys took it, and that would have been a great call. Cherry. You guys probably think, 106 Dibbles, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Yeah, it's not that bad, but you watch this man's role. If you're watching North games the last 2 rounds, he starts in the forward pocket, or centre half forward, wherever the hell he starts, in the forward line. Trembath takes the tap, wins the tap most of the time, especially against Nank. Then he comes up to take, then they swap almost, and then he takes around the grounds, but then he doesn't really do anything around the ground. He took a couple of clunk marks towards the end of the game, and I think I was sitting on the radio, so I was in the car. Sorry, apologies, I was watching at home, then in the car, on the radio. I did hear that he clunked a mark in the forward line and scored a goal, but that's not his game usually. His game is tap ruck, to advantage, tackle, tap, tackle, handball, tackle, 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 tackle. Yeah. I regret it. I don't know what I traded this guy in, but this is not what I expected. And yeah, do not trade into Cherry. Don't trade into Cherry for whatever you do, because this role seems to be sticking because they are winning. And yeah, unless you see Goad probably out of the team, that's probably a good sign for Cherry, I reckon, because he'll probably get a few more centre bounces. But it was Trembath. And he looks so good, Trembath. So at the end of the day, sometimes actual real life footy doesn't translate to Supercoach, and that's one of these cases. Sheasel is a fucking gun, and he's even better of a gun when he goes up against Richmond. If you're are they playing Richmond again this season? Please, let me see. Are they playing Richmond again? No, they play Richmond twice. Fuck. Anyway, the point I was going to make was, if I ever not VC or see Sheasel against the Tigers, someone shoot me. That is one of the biggest locks ever for a captain score. Anyway, enough about my stupid captain VC choices. Horn Francis, 128. His run's been insane the last couple of weeks. Track 101, good to see a ton from him. He's nowhere near the heights that he did at the start of the season, probably just due to the personnel, with Raul being there, Anderson being there. Anderson was there at the start of the season, but he was a bit out of form. But I think it's just the midfield picks. And to be honest, I think they need to change something because they don't look very good. They need a few more defensive-minded mids in there, I think. Pickett, 54. Come on, mate. What a roller coaster of a season for Pickett. 97.5. Wow. Anyway, Henry didn't play. Didn't get named. Pods, my trade-in. Didn't expect much from him, but probably more than 45, but that's okay. I think he's got Tiggs this round. Yep. So you'd think probably a couple more goals for him than maybe what he's had up to date. Well, this so far, these 2 games. Dovison didn't play. Reedy didn't play. Cumming. Spike score from Cumming. Yeah, right. What's his break even? 23. Price range 18. He is probably going to be my ticket to NAS, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But hey, that's my round in review. So, 4, 6, 8, 600 with 8 trades. Before I do anything at the moment, let me pop the playing players on field. Can chuck the E on Edwards. Heaney can come back on for, I guess, Bont. Shark can go on for Ison. I could probably loop them, but why would I even bother? Gon's out. ZZ's not getting named. I wouldn't have thought. Henry Pickett. All right. So without trading any players, clearly I will. But without trading any players, I've got... How many non-playing players is my concern? So... Everyone's playing in the defense, but clearly 2 rookies and 2 may as well be rookies in Clark and Houston. Sharp rookie. That's actually pretty decent midfield depth. Pretty happy with that. Cherry, my God. I'm going to take the VC off him right now. I don't care. Doesn't deserve it. Horn, Francis, Track, Sheasel, Pickett, Henry. All right. So my forward line looks like it's in a little bit of trouble this week. Cumming, I'm going to hold from the perspective that he's going to just make a little bit more money, and money is super important at the moment. And if I trade down to some of these 99k guys, like who's some of these guys your guys are trading, and he's on the bubble. Herbert has played 1 game. So yeah. Okay, so my thinking on this at the moment is I'm looking at this from a 2-week play. My 2-week play is, well, really, it's mission get NAS. That is the end goal. I want to come out of round 16 buys and then going into round 17 with NASIAH, Wanganeen, Millera in my team, in my flex, in my defense, in my mids, in my ruck. I don't care. He needs to be in my team without any questions asked. And I'm just hoping that some of the high-ranked people out there that have gone aggressive, they're running out of cash, running out of trades, and like, you know what? Would love Nas, but I can't afford him. Would love Nas, but I have to go this person. So that is probably where my advantage may lie, and that is probably where my head is at. And just playing the more patient game whilst people start burning through trades. So, a couple of things. Sinclair has to go out. I'm down 2 primo defenders, so I need a primo defender. That's a lock. Like without a doubt, I need a primo defender. No questions asked. I also need a primo of some sort in my forward line. No questions asked. But I need enough cash to go to NAS the following week. So, NASIAH. NASIAH is 578 $200,000. So if I need NASIAH and I have Cumming, let's just play conservative. What's Cumming's break even's 23 is meant to go up 18. Just so I can deal with round numbers and not get my calculator out, because you guys don't want to see me get a calculator out. Truly. No one wants to see that. That's not interesting viewing. Nas, let's just call it 300. Let's call it 300, guys. 300,000. Cumming is 300,000. That means I need $278,000 at least to go to Nas with one trade. We are in trade conservation mode at the moment. We all are. We all are. Unless you have, I don't know how many more trades you'd have to be aggressive. Like, if you have anything more than 12, 13, you are fucking laughing. Absolutely laughing, depending on the state of your team as well. So, I need a primo defender. I need a forward. Here is my thinking. Henry, who's got the most cash on their head out of the forwards that I have at the moment? I could go Dovison or Henry. I'm hoping Dovison at some point plays another game, and Henry too. Henry's interesting because he may get named. Will he? I don't know. Anyway, let's say it's Henry for the moment, just playing the cash game. Henry out, and I'm going to go the cheaper option out of who I want. I want either Warner or Durham. I'm going to pick the cheaper option at this stage. Again, wanting cash. Cash, Robbo. No cash here. Whatever the quote is. No cash. Does. Welcome to the team. And quite frankly, probably should be Essendon's captain. But hey. That's another story. Okay. So I have $282,000 left with 7 trades. Sinclair has to go, as far as we understand it. He's going to be, what we think, going to be out for the season. And again, my threshold is probably 3-4 weeks. So if it's more than 3-4 weeks, he's gone. Trade him out. Now, what I would love to do, including buys, so I'm going to include buys in this planning, which means I'm not going to go into any Cats players, Saints players, Dogs players, anything like that. He's on the screen, Mr. Lockie Ash. I would love to go Lockie Ash. Would love to. Do you remember that magic number, guys? 278. No magic number here. So, unfortunately, Ash is not my play. Let me bring me down here. The play at this stage is someone who's averaging 2 less than Ash, but around $70,000 cheaper, is our boy, Luke Parker. Luke Parker is just doing whatever he wants down back. Kick-ins, whatever, fucking cheap disposals, all that stuff. All the things that we think Clark should be doing, Parker's doing. And look at that number, ladies and gentlemen. Do we have 278? Yeah, we do. So, we're going to lock that in. In terms of the run for North, I think that Parker's pretty much shown that he can score well against crappy teams. He can score well against good teams. He can pretty much do it all. And look, at the end of the day, if I'm running Clark and Houston, he's better than fucking Clark and Houston. So that's an upgrade in my book. At least for my defense, it bolsters it up. And so here we are left. So what are we left with? We're left with 6 trades. We're left with $313,000. We have F6 currently tanked. So my thinking is, and what I can actually do is I can physically show you what it will actually look like, but I'll reverse it because who knows these. Well, firstly, Cumming will go up in price. So I'm not going to do it this week because I'm just losing out on 20K basically, or 10K. Also, Naz might pull his groin in training for all I know. Anyway, just to so you can see what the team's going to actually look like, I'm going to trade coming. I'll move my... I keep moving my head around everywhere. Sorry, guys. Whiplash for you guys. Coming out, I think I like the idea of Hall Kahan in flex. I don't know. Maybe. Actually, no, I don't. I won't do that because I could probably loop him, Edwards, Dirksen. Depending on the matchup, I probably could. Okay, so for argument's sake, I'm just going to leave it. Naz. Again, like I said, guys, I'm not doing this week. I'm just showing you what a preview it is to next week. And to be honest, there might be some more carnage and I might have to pivot again. But it might be arguably, let's say, I don't know, Whitfield or Parker do something. And hopefully not. I wouldn't wish any bad health on any of these players or any players for that matter. But they could get injured. Someone in my midfield could get injured. And if they get injured this week, guess who's coming to the team? Naz. Just like that. So this is how I'll likely line up at the end of at the start of round 17, like this, with 5 trades left. And I'm pretty much running a loop on D6. Bont will come on field. F6 is being tanked. I think Hawker Hans is scoring more than Houston and Clark anyway. So what's the difference? Look, that's my thinking at the moment. I'll trade back coming. But you can see how my team's starting to fill out. And you can see how I can use the DPP between Hawker Han, Naz. Durham's got DPP as well. I can move him up to midfield with Banfield. Could I get someone cheap in my forward line? Could I get Banks in my defense? Banks is pretty cheap. I don't know my risk appetite going Banks, but he is cheap. Up against the Pies as well. So he's got 87.90. Could I turn, an Edwards and a Hall Kahan to Banks? Is that even worth it? Not sure. Just things that are on my mind. But that I think will be it for the video, guys. I'll see how I go and how I'm placed for upload later in the week. I think it may be unlikely more than likely. I usually do my review preview all in the same week. But see how I feel. In terms of captain choices, guys, really hard to go past Dacos against the Tigs, and then really hard to go past Sheasel against the Dons. So I will line up as Dacos and Sheasel. Heaney's always tempting because he's, I think, not as highly owned as a lot of the Uber Prems, but how much is he owned by? But he never seems to pay off for me every time I go VC or C. So I just pretty bad luck as it relates to when I pick him. So look, I'm just going to leave it there, guys. That's how I'm lining up. I didn't switch coming back, but yep, I'll do that right now. Let's get him out. Coming back. Coming back. And as mentioned, guys, going live with Nemo on Sunday this week. Grab your coffee, join in, let us know how you're going across the round as well. That'd be awesome. Good to hear how you're going against us as it relates to a comparison point. And happy to help out any VCC choices going into the final day. The final day will be the North and Essendon game and the Freo and Suns. So your Cherries, your Sheasels, your Merritts, your Jacksons, your Andersons. There might be a couple of options there, guys. So look, gonna leave it there. Again, thanks so much for the support. Like, subscribe, get around us, and thank you so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Cheers.